Hey, it's Kenny here, and welcome to another edition of Chillin', getting into the Zoom. I'm gonna be joined with my guest singer, songwriter here in Kentucky. I met this lovely lady at Overtones earlier this year, uh, and to chat with us, I believe we are joined with Jamie Suttle. How's it going?
Hey, Kenny, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I
I
am so not tech savvy, so I'm very glad that you can hear me. My first try. It's good.
Yeah, it looks like you're in the dark there.
Oh, I probably am. It's kind of dark. It is kind of dark in here. I'm in the top floor of my house in
Mhm.
like a corner trying to escape the noise that is coming from my house right now. So that's where
Yeah.
we're at.
Hey, it's all good. Do what you can.
My daughter
And
is practicing piano. She started piano lessons. And my husband is downstairs practicing guitar and working on a few of the work tapes that we started. So it's just loud in my house. So I just tried to escape and come up here. It kind of looks like I'm in an attic, I think, but at
it's
least
all
you can
good.
hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. That's all that matters. I'm still new to this Zoom thing, so I'm just adapting as I go.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you, Jamie, for joining me for this Zoom. So before I get into the questions and stuff, we met earlier this year at Overtones. Big
Yeah.
shout out to Renee and
And
Warren
listen
Cobb.
locally. I don't know if you can see it. I've got my listen
Yes.
locally shirt on. I still have to send Renee a picture of me in the shirt. She asked me for one and I keep forgetting. Renee,
Shout out to
I love you.
Listen. Shout out to Listen locally. Great cause. Just spreading awareness of supporting live and local music. Um, it's interesting you brought that up because Renee was just telling me they working on hoodies for Listen locally, and they got pink ones that they're going to premiere down the road. So if you're into hoodies, go check out Listen locally. They got
And
some on
I'm
the
up in
way.
Ohio. I have to be into hoodies here in just a couple weeks. It's going to be hoodie season. So
Yeah, I love hoodie season, so I'm all for whatever. She's encouraging me to get to get one. So
yes,
and that's one of the last people you say no to. That's Renee. So
absolutely.
so
Amen.
so so Jamie, let's get
Renee is
into it.
one of
Yeah.
the dearest, sweetest people I've ever met. So yeah, I love her. I love that whole group. Her and Whitney have something amazing going with overtones. And I'm so excited that I've been able to be a part of a few of those.
Yes. And your performance at Overtones was sensational.
Thank you.
Definitely enjoyed the vibe and just a nice, peaceful environment. Just
Yeah.
just listen to the music. So it was awesome to see you perform that day, and yet here we are.
Yes.
Uh, so how did Jamie Suttle got started in music? Tell us a little bit about your musical journey.
Well, I'm from Van Lear, Kentucky, and I started out, just I was surrounded by music my whole life. No one in my family that I can think of really plays music or played music when I was growing up. But we always had music everywhere in the house from Loretta Lynn, Hank Williams, Patsy Cline, Keith Whitley. We always had music in the house. My mom was actually a big fan of Fleetwood Mac, Aerosmith, a lot of Southern rock kind of feel. So, kind of both vibes going on in my house. And then when I moved to Ohio to live with her and my grandmother, she got me really involved in the church, and I joined the church choir like so many other musicians. And I just fell in love with music there, and that's where I started writing. I mean, I've been writing songs since I started out writing poetry, And then I started writing songs probably in early elementary school. But when I really started putting them to music was later on when I moved to Ohio and was just singing songs in church, writing hymns. Um, and then I kind of just, I think I was 18 when I joined my first band. It was a rock band, it was not a country band. Um, I was singing at this little open mic night in downtown Dayton, and these boys walked in and they said, we have a band and we would love to see if you might want to audition. And I was just so excited that anyone would want me to be a part of their band that I didn't even care what kind of music that they were playing. um, they sent me home with a demo of just instrumental music and they said, hey, will you try to write some original songs to this and that'll be your audition. So I took it home that night and I wrote my best, rock sounding stuff. And yeah, I was with those guys for about 5 years. And then I met my husband Chris, and he started actually a recording studio. He had always wanted to record, and he had all different types of bands coming in, and one of the bands kind of had more of a country feel. And I said, I've been listening to country music my whole life, and that's really the kind of music that I want to write. So would you guys mind staying around the studio for a little bit tonight? So I have a few ideas. I'd love to sing them for you and see if maybe we can write something together. And they did. And that was, I think we ended up writing 2 songs that night. And then before you know it, I had my first EP. And that's kind of how I got started in country music. So here we
I
are.
I will say this: you definitely show versatility. Making that going from the rock path into the country path, even though you are country through and through. And just getting to the studio, that's the beauty of being in the studio. Like you can get a chance to link up with somebody and get some ideas and see where it takes you. And from the looks of things, y'all went to good places musically. So that's awesome.
And I
So
think that's honestly been the biggest, I don't want to say issue, but that's been kind of the biggest hurdle for me in my career so far, is just kind of coming up with a label for a lot of my sound, only because there is a lot of rock influence, there's a lot of traditional country. And then when I moved to Ohio, my grandmother was a huge fan of Etta James and Sam Cooke and Muddy Waters, and I always had that playing in my home. So, and then of course the gospel kind of sound from growing up in church. So I think we've kind of tried to make a sound that kind of melts all of those together instead of excluding any of them. So I just really appreciate that you said that, because I think sometimes it's a little more bluesy, sometimes it's a little more rock. It kind of just depends.
yeah, for what I've seen in overtones in your set, definitely you show some versatility, and I really like that. It feels like nowadays most musicians, you're no longer one dimensional. You're showing that you can, go different phases musically and different genres and make it your own. It's like being a cook, spreading that gumbo
That's
or
right.
smoothie or whatever, and you make it your own. So, as far as you mentioned Loretta Lynn, you mentioned Etta James, you mentioned all these variety of artists and stuff. Um, as far as who else or some other influences that have I see that on your bio on your website. You like Miranda Lambert, you like a plethora of others. Just you've been a woman in country music. And who else inspired you as a singer or songwriter, performer? Who else out there inspires you?
I think for myself and a lot of artists, I think like you just said, it different people inspire different parts of who you are as an artist. So in the songwriting part of my journey, I have been inspired a lot by writers like Loretta Lynn because she kind of taught women to speak their truth and to write music that maybe wasn't always about something pretty, but it was honest. And I always clung to that because I think that it's so important to give a voice to people who really need to hear what you're saying. And sometimes that means saying things that, could be hurtful to someone else, or, it might even be hurtful to sing. But I think it's important to give a voice to those situations. So I've always kind of gravitated toward her style of just being very honest and genuine in her writing. As far as performance, I have always loved Stevie Nicks. I think she's an incredible performer. Her style, she's just cool and she always kind of keeps a level head. And she's kind of demure in a lot of ways, but then she goes on stage and she's just this powerhouse. And I always loved that. I feel the same way about Reba. Reba was always incredible. I feel the same way about Miranda Lambert. I've been following Miranda's career since she was on Nashville Star, and she has just had this incredible career. Another current artist that I am very, very inspired by is Ashley McBride, because she has had this incredible way of bringing a lot of traditional sound back into mainstream country. And she's just a complete badass, and I love her. Um, as far as I would say my style goes, yeah, I mean, Etta James, like there's no one better than Etta on stage. The way that she presents herself in a room when she walked in and, she would talk to this room of people, I feel like everybody would stop and listen to her. And I've always kind of gravitated toward that as well. Like, how do I capture that as a new artist? How did she become that? What did she go through to become that?
Yeah, I love me some Etta. Stevie Nicks especially. Wow. Talk about a performer. Just talk about somebody that has command on that stage, and and it shows. Woman of country, at least from what I've seen, and for what the people I've interviewed, the people I've gotten to know, it's always been an uphill battle as far as getting equal treatment, getting equal radio pay or equal opportunities. It feels like things have gotten better, but there's still more work to be done. From your perspective as a woman in country, like how do you feel about women in country music in general, as far as where they at now, and what do you want to see more of as far as opportunities, things of that nature?
I mean, honestly, I guess I am one of the more hopeful ones. I do think that it is getting better. I think that female voices are much more heard today than they were. And again, I just feel very, very grateful for the women who kind of pioneered the path for artists like myself, because you have Loretta Lynn who's getting banned from radio stations because she's singing about birth control. And Dolly has always had an incredible way of speaking her mind, but still having people on both sides maybe not agree with her, but
Yeah.
at least still love her, which I think is amazing. Um, but yeah, I think that people are kind of coming around a lot more to female vocals, and I think that part of that is we have a lot of females who are being extremely genuine and kind of transparent in their music. And I think people are just more open to it for some reason. Um, but yeah, I would say I'm so, so grateful for people like we were talking about Renee and Whitney. Renee is such a huge component she's such a huge, I guess, champion for female songwriters, especially in Kentucky, but just in general. And the world needs more of that.
I do love Whitney. Um, just always a delight to see perform and just someone to talk to.
Mhm.
She you talk about passion for music in general, she's one of the most passionate people that I know in this local scene, and the
Whitney has
twisted.
such an amazing talent for, and I'm sure you've seen this too, and you probably feel this way too.
Mhm.
She has such an incredible talent of, Whitney could sing this song about burning some dude's house down because she's upset, but
Mhm.
she's a ray of sunshine. You still feel like you're in total sunshine and you just love her. And she just has this radiance about her. And I absolutely love that.
I will say she got some Miranda Lambert in her a little bit, a little sprinkle. Um, but she's all Whitney. We love her dearly on this show. We love her on the scene, and as well as Renee and such. So we're in the fall season. Weather's getting cold. Hoodie season
Yeah.
is upon us. We're still getting a little warmish, even in the days of fall. But we'll get to those cooler days. What do Jamie Suttle has in store as it pertains to maybe new music or maybe some upcoming shows? What do you have on the horizon as of right now?
Well, as of, let's see, October 8th, I'll be at Bub City in Chicago, and I'm so excited to play that venue. I've been to that venue. They have incredible food, and I've seen incredible artists play there. So I'm really excited to play there, and I love Chicago. Um, and then in November, I'll be heading down to Muscle Shoals for a songwriter conference down there, songwriter festival. And, I mean, Muscle Shoals is just a magical place. I'm super excited to play there. But other than that, I mean, honestly, over the next couple months, we really want to focus on writing and getting some new songs recorded because we've been writing a lot. We have a lot of new music coming. And yeah, we're just excited to get it recorded and get ready for the next festival season.
Awesome. So she's gonna be in Tennessee. Actually, she's gonna be in Illinois, and she's gonna be some other places as well. Check out her website, jamiesuttle.com. That is Jamie, JamieSuttle.com. All the info's on there, music. She got plenty of old music, and she's going to have some new music on the horizon, maybe before year's end or maybe sometime in 2022, but she's coming. You just heard it from Jamie. She's writing, so stay tuned for that. And Jamie, thank you so much
Thank
for.
you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you at another Overtones or one of those shindigs that Renee puts together here soon.
Yeah, so and Jamie Renee is now at Richmond for Overtones for the fall. So I will be keeping my eye on those dates, and Renee will somehow convince me to get to make that drive from Lexington to Richmond.
She has her
She
ways.
Yeah, so she will find a way, one way or another. I am joined with Jamie Soto, an incredible singer songwriter, just at peace in the dark, but you still can hear her voice. I think you're getting to the it's getting the fall. You got the fall vibes. I'm sensing fall vibes with the
When we hang up, I'm going to turn on a scary movie. I might have some wine. It's going to be great.
Hey, sounds like a plan. Getting into that, get the weekend going.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Jamie. You've been a blast talking to. Continued success. Be safe out there, and well, hopefully we'll see each other down the road in this season. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much, Kenny.
All right, you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
All right, all right. That was Jamie Soto. Pleasure of